21 points, because he's a scorer. That's what he is. He's not a shooter, scorer. And he plays well in the playoffs. He's never averaged under 20 points. He's got that mid-range. That's what he has. He doesn't have to be a great shooter, and I know his three-point shot isn't very good. Okay, breaking news. Giannis is in for game 1. It's because I just said that. I'm a curse, aren't I? Anyway, back to DeRozan. I'll handle that later. But, DeRozan's he will not be a bad addition. He's more reliable than AD is for LeBron. He'll be there. He's never played less than 63 games in the season, and that was in his third year. Ever since then, he's played at least 61. That was this year, when the schedule was condensed. He's rarely injured. He's reliable. He'll be there. He'll score. That's what LeBron needs right now. All right, so Trey Lance says that Jimmy G is great to be around, and Jimmy Garoppolo, I think if he's healthy, this is a Super Bowl team. That's the thing. And, I guess you can say, he's complex, I kind of like Garoppolo because he's complex like that, I like CP3, he doesn't have a big arm. Not having a big arm could have very well been the reason they lost the Super Bowl. He had to make that over-the-top throw, and that would have been it. The Chiefs would not have won last year's Super Bowl. They probably would have made more moves than they did. But, I guess he could be a good guy to learn from, I guess. It's hard to explain, what he would teach Trey Lance. And, they're kind of different. Garoppolo is not the most athletic. On the other hand, Trey Lance is incredibly athletic. Has a lot of Josh Allen to him, And, if he can combine his athleticism with Garoppolo, who learns from Tom Brady, if he can have... I think Garoppolo has kind of has the brains. I don't know. It's hard to explain, what Garoppolo does. It really is. Alright. Anyway, game 1 tips of the night. And, you know what I love about these two teams? They were built in different ways, but there's one similar way that they were built that I love. There's one similarity. The Bucks were built slowly, and they were well developed, through the draft. They didn't sign anyone, but what they realized was it was going to be tough to build them through the draft, so they went ahead and signed Jrue Holiday, a veteran that would push the team in the right direction. And remember, when Holiday left earlier this season, the Bucks went on a losing streak. Holiday is very valuable to this team. The Suns were very smartly developed. The Bucks just took it slow. They took it step by step. The Suns really did research. A lot of the young guys that they have are great players. You'll see that when I do my top 10 next. So the Suns were smartly developed. That's the one difference. Suns were smartly developed. They were calculated. The Bucks took it step by step and went slowly. But then, when they realized that it was going to be tough to develop them through the draft, because, like I said, you can't develop teams through the draft anymore, because every team is signing. They're making some big addition every offseason, you have to do something. So the Suns went ahead and they added CP3, another veteran that could push the team in the right direction. So what they both did was they developed their team through the draft, and then they didn't add the best player ever. They didn't add LeBron or a KD, but they added a smart guard that can push them in the right direction. All right, time to count down my top 10 players in the finals right now. All right, so number 10 is Cameron Payne. And, Cameron Payne, he had that one great performance against the Clippers. Or what did he have, like 29 points or something? He's not a big player otherwise, but he's definitely capable. I mean, in the regular season, he shot well. He shot 44% from the three. And he's a good role player. I've always felt like he's a good role player, and he's my number 10. I mean, he can put on a good, 10, 15 points, I feel like, just not better than the other 9 guys on this list. Number 9 is Mikal Bridges. He's a very exciting young player for the Suns. He is another one of their guys that played every game this season. He played all 72. He averaged 13.5 points. He shot 54% from the field and 43% from 3. Playoffs, he shot 47% from free throw, from the field and 35% from 3. He's a very exciting young player. He's developing. I mean, he's only 24 years old. And I believe he was drafted the same year as DeAndre Ayton. But, he's a very exciting young player. And just like Cameron Payne, he can tack on a good 10, 15 points. And he can also go for over 20. He's capable of that. Alright, number 8 is a player that I really like is Jay Crowder. He's a great player. He's shooting well. He shoots 90% from the free throw line, 37% from 3. He again another 10, 15 point game scorer. During the regular season, 39% from 3. Another 10, 15 point guy. Don't worry, we're gonna get to the great players soon. Just be patient here. So far in the first 3 players I've listed are all Suns. Right now. So I'm gonna tell you something real quick. I'm gonna give you a comparison that I think is very interesting. Number 7 is Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is another great role player. 13 points a game, 57% from the field. He's a great 3-point shooter. He had 33 points the other night. Regularly about a 15-point game scorer, and occasionally popping for 30 or 20. And he's very experienced. That's another thing I like about him. Another reason he's number 7 right now, because he is more experienced than Mikal Bridges and Cam Payne, because he's not much different than them. Both Mikal Bridges and Cam Payne have had one good playoff game, and so has Lopez. But Lopez, he's more consistent in my opinion, and he has more experience. Number 6, here we go. is DeAndre Ayton. Another very exciting young player. Who over the 69 out of the 72 games, he averaged 14 and 10 with 63% from the field. Then in the playoffs, 16 and 11, 70% from the field. I would like to see his 3-point shot go up, but, he has the highest field goal percentage of anyone in the playoffs with a minimum of 100 attempts, So he's a very exciting young player. I think he has a high ceiling, but I don't think he's better than these 5 players yet. Number 5 is Chris Middleton. He averaged 29 and 8 when Giannis was out, which proves he can be a great player without Giannis, which is why he appeared in my Where Did I Go Wrong earlier in this podcast, He can do well without Giannis. He could be a little consistent, but the reason he's not higher than the other 4 guys is he's not that consistent. But he does have value. He does do well without Giannis. Yeah, they're plus 112 when he's on the court, minus 8 without him. So he does have value. He's my number 5 player. Number 4 is Jrue Holiday. He has the highest plus minus of anyone in the finals with the most assists. And Holiday can be a very great defender. He can also be a great player. And like I said, they went on a losing streak when he was out. He's very valuable. He averaged 18 points, 8 assists. And he's my number 4 player. I put him ahead of Middleton because of his consistency. That's the only difference. Number 3 is Devin Booker. He averaged 27 points. He had the most total points in the finals. Out of anyone in the finals. He's averaging 27 in the playoffs. And, he... I don't even know if he has a ceiling, really. I really don't. He shoots 91% from the free throw line, and I know that doesn't seem like a relevant stat, but in the clutch, you're going to have to knock down your free throws. Number 2 is Giannis. He was my number 3, which would have gotten you guys mad, but the reason he's not ahead of CP3 is because I don't know if he's going to be 100% throughout these finals. That's why he's number 3. That's why he's not... that's why he's number 2. That's why he's not number 1 yet. Normally, a player as talented as him would be. But my new favorite player in CP3 is number 1. 6th highest plus minus in NBA history. He's not the flashiest guy, but he has the highest odds to win Finals MVP right now. He's shooting 91% from the free throw line, 40% from 3, and 47% from the field in these playoffs so far. He averages 8 assists on 18 points. I think he's the most valuable player in the league. He would get my MVP vote. Unfortunately, he wasn't even a finalist, which I think is a joke, but I'm not going to get into that. So CP3 is my number 1. So just to review, 10 Cameron Payne, 9 Mikal Bridges, 8 Jay Crowder, 7 Brook Lopez, 6 DeAndre Ayton, 5 Middleton, 4 Holiday, 3 Booker, 2 Giannis, 1 CP3. So, if you didn't notice, the Suns have